Hey guys, it's Kevin, and this is my review for Glee Season 6, Episode 11, We Built This Glee Club, and this was the final sectionals episode, and the final competition episode in general, and wow, I mean, just wow, that really hit me, and what a way to go out. This was by far the best episode of the season. What an episode this was. I mean, they actually closed out some storylines very well in this episode that I did not know they were going to do, and I really did enjoy that, and there were so many things that I loved about this episode. And one of the things I love is that this episode felt like the old sectionals episode. It really did. It felt like the sectionals episode from season 1. You know, the group was very worried about performing. They didn't know how they were going to be. And that's the same in this episode, because the episode actually starts out that way. Because you see Will, Rachel, Kurt, Blaine, they're all teaching them to dance and everything. And the Warblers aren't very happy about this, because, you know, now they're the new Warbler erections, and they're not exactly happy that they're doing this, and that's simply because of the fact that they think that Vocal Adrenaline is better than them, because they saw Vocal Adrenaline performing one day, and they are amazing. They're amazing. They're amazingly talented. Sue was having them like run on hot coals, which is insane, but it's Sue. I expect her to do that. I mean, what we saw from the Far From Over sequence last week, oh yeah, she totally do something like that. So they're very worried about what's going to happen to them there, and also the fact that just they don't think that they're really the best dancers, and they think that if they don't really have it, they shouldn't dance. And I have to agree what they said. I mean, when you are in a show, you want to have good stuff. You don't want to have your weakest link dancing, you know, and that's one of the biggest parts of show choir is dancing, and you need to have the proper dancers. So basically, they decide to pick out the two weakest dancers, and that is Roderick and Spencer. Now, Roderick and Spencer are our two weakest dancers here. They don't exactly know what they know what they're doing and everything, but they're just not the best dancers. And I like seeing the Warblers and New Directions still clash. I really did like that, but I have to say, seeing more focus on that new Warbler, I definitely really enjoyed seeing that, because really my only thing of the season, I don't think we saw enough of the Warblers this season. I don't. I don't think we really got to know their characters. But it really doesn't matter, because they're just the new Warbler erection, so it really does not bother me. So basically, what ended up happening is that Roger and Spencer were talking, and Spencer was talking about how did Roger want to help him with Alistair, and you can see that I love the bonding between these two. It really reminded me a lot of Ryder and Jake, what they had in season 4. The difference here is that these two, it feels a lot more, you know, natural. And with Ryder and Jake, I mean, I really like their friendship and everything, but I didn't like them as characters. And here I love all the characters. So I really love seeing them interact and everything. And they decide that they are going to have Kitty mentor them, because she is the best dancer, which arguably I'd have to agree with that. Kitty, out of all of them, yeah, she's definitely the best dancer. We can see that Kitty can dance. She's fantastic. And so basically, after this, what happens is that Rachel and Sam are still arguing over her going back to NIADA or her going back to Broadway. And I understand what Sam was trying to say. I do. Basically, Sam was telling her that he really, he had this list of people that wanted to go to, that wanted to go to, that didn't go to that went to college before Broadway. And it's a lot of rivals, like Patti LuPone's on that list. A lot of people are on that list, and Rachel, you can see, doesn't really want to go through this anymore, so she basically ends up breaking up with him in like the most subtle way ever. She just tells him that she thinks him as a friend, which I can understand. I never really saw them as together. I like him as a couple, but I never really saw them as a couple. I saw them more as friends. And when Rachel broke it off with Sam, I like that she said, "I know you're trying to be a good friend," and that basically tells Sam, you know, we're done now. And I thought that was a very good scene. I definitely really enjoyed that. And Rachel said that she understands that, but she's going to make this decision on her own, and I love that. I love that Rachel's making this decision on her own. She's not going to let anyone define her. She's not going to let anyone tell her what to do, and I really do like that, because that's one of the most important things when you make a decision like this is, who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the people that get you down, or are you going to listen to yourself, which you should? And she performs one of the, probably the best song of the season for Rachel, at least, Listen to Your Heart, and it was an amazing performance, I have to say. Their performance, I thought, was so good. I loved it. Because not only is Rachel singing it, but Jessie comes back into the picture. Literally right in the middle of the song, he comes back into the picture, and it was awesome to see. Because if you guys don't know this, I love Jessie and Rachel together. First of all, of course, you know, Leah Michelle and Jonathan Groff are best friends in real life, and Jonathan Groff has been on Looking, so a lot of people are worried that Jesse was not going to be able to come back to this season. The fact that they got him back there this episode alone is just amazing. It just shows how far the show has come, and I really like seeing Jesse and Rachel together, and I have to say, between Rachel and Sam and Jesse and Rachel is what I would have wanted, really. I would have wanted them to get together over Rachel and Sam. It's not that I don't like Rachel and Sam, it's just that Jesse and Rachel have so much better chemistry. They're so great together. And their duet was so good, and I loved it, and Jesse tells Rachel how he is actually starring in the production, and he, talked about, how he knows that she quit Broadway and everything, and he tells her that she should not let that get her down. She should go back to Broadway because that's where she belongs. And he says, oh, really, only if you want to become like Carmen Thibodeau, that is when you go to, Broadway over Miata. And I have to agree with him there. I do agree definitely what he's saying, and I definitely think that's a good idea what he said, but of course, Rachel's still very in the middle about it, and I like that they're working together on that Broadway show because it's like Spring Awakening, because that's really how they got their start, and I really do like that. But just the fact that he gave her that advice and everything, it really does make her think about a lot of things, and I definitely really enjoyed that. And I thought their chemistry overall was just great. I love their scene together. They were fantastic, and I love that. So Roderick and Spencer, they're practicing their dancing and everything, and Spencer ends up getting injured. He has a broken leg, and he can't do anything to unless he gets a hydrocortisone. He has to get a hydrocortisone shot, and basically that's when it's happening there. So I thought that was very interesting as well. I didn't know how they were going to do that. That was really my only thing I was not looking forward to, was seeing how Spencer broke his leg, because we all knew he was going to, because that picture was released. I like that it was that he did to himself rather than Stu did to him. Because people thought Stu was going to do some maniacal thing and try to injure Spencer. I can't say that. Injure Spencer, but that's not what ended up happening. And I was happy that didn't happen, because I didn't want that to happen to Spencer. I didn't want Spencer to just get hurt by just, basically, I wanted him to do it to himself rather than someone doing it to him. So Kurt talks to Rachel, and we get probably my favorite scene in the episode. I have to say, this and one other scene were my favorite scenes in the episode, because it really shows what this season was trying to show. Kurt talks to Rachel about how he wants her to make the best decision, and he doesn't want her to let other people make decisions for her. He knows how strong she is, he knows what happened to her last year, and what he says really applies to anyone who doesn't see their talent, and it really applied to a lot of people, including me, myself. What he says to Rachel, I have to say, is just knocked right on the head right there. That's right on what he should say. And he basically tells her that even though she did go to Broadway Miata, she wasn't happy last year, probably because Finn died and everything, but also the fact that she never realized how talented she really was, and she just got so overconfident. It really made her it really overwhelmed her and everything. And then he told her when her and Blaine announced they were going back to Lima, he thought they were crazy, but he said it really was a good thing for her. And I have to say it was, because it really showed her that she does have some great leadership skills and that she is very talented, and he wants her to make a good decision. And I like that he said that, because Rachel really was intolerable last season. She was very different than she is now, and that applies to a lot of people. If any of you have ever given up your dreams, then that applies to a lot of people. And I like they told her that the TV show was stupid and everything, and Jesse said that as well. And I really love what Kurt says to her. As I told you guys, one of my favorite parts of this show is Hummleberry. They're one of my favorite parts of the show. They will always be my favorite parts of the show. And just seeing that scene was great. We also find out scene that Kurt is going back to NIADA and Blaine is going to NYU. So yes, and I know a lot of people are like, why didn't they show that? Well, they didn't have time, okay? Blaine is coaching New Directions. They didn't really have time to show it, and I really did enjoy that. I thought that was very good. I love that advice that he gave to Rachel. It was one of my favorite scenes of the episode by far, and just, wow, what an amazing scene that was. I absolutely love that scene. So that was great. So then we go back to, New Directions practicing and everything, and they are now glitter bombed by Sue. I have to say, I know a lot of people did not like this, but I actually found it to be very funny, because it wasn't like the Hurt Locker, which was ridiculous and everything. She glitter bombs their piano. It was hilarious to watch. Seeing, Myron not, being terrified of it, seeing Mason wanting it, seeing him protect Jane, I thought was hilarious to see. that was just such a funny scene. I love that, and I'd say I like that we did get a lot of focus on the the newbies in this episode because we had to. It's sectionals. So there's more that Sue's doing though, because she somehow has made every faculty member in the school throwing up because she put like eye drops in their coffee or something, and she set Will's car on fire. So Sue, I don't know what she's doing, but that was pretty crazy what she did there. And obviously Will's not happy about it, but again, it just shows the impending feud between the two, which I love seeing. I love that we saw the impending feud between them, and that's one of my favorite parts of the show. It's always been one of my favorite parts, is their feud, because it is very funny to watch, and it really is the main core conflict of the show is their feud. Even though Will's not the main character of the show, the core conflict is definitely their feud. That's what I'm gonna say. Not only does Sue do that, but she also shaves her head off, and goes completely bald, which I thought was really interesting. And then she talks to Shannon. I mean not Shannon, Sheldon, Sheldon, and I love what Sheldon says to her. That there were two people that defended her, and this is what she's doing. And I really do agree with what he says. That basically, if this would happen to him, everyone would be against him, and he'd probably be killed and things like that. And he doesn't understand why Sue can do something like this. And I know a lot of people say, well, why didn't Sue just get arrested? Because they care about her. That's the thing. They care about Sue. They know what she went through, and they don't want her to do this. They just think she's going down the wrong path, and they're not afraid of her either. So that's why I don't think they're trying to arrest her. So, because me personally, I don't think Sue should get arrested. I think she just needs a very stern talking to. And that talk with Sheldon, I think, is really what she needs, what Sheldon says, because Sheldon defended her. She's always been there for Sheldon, and Sheldon will always be there for her, and he'll always care about her. And, Sheldon will always be there for him, and, I really love what Sheldon said to her, because it really does work. It really is, what Sue needed to hear was what Sheldon said, and I really do love that. So then we get to sectionals, and oh my god, guys, this really felt like classic sectionals. This was great to see, because we have two of the original judges for sectionals back. Donna Landry's, remember that woman who absolutely hated the New Directions, who was forced to go there by her boss because he got tickets and everything. I thought that was hilarious. And Rod Remington, and also this really, really dumb dog trainer and her dog, which was really funny to see. So we first have the Falconers perform this song, which I thought was really good. Actually, no, they're called the Birds of Prey, which I thought was really good. They did a very good job with that. And then we have Vocal Adrenaline. Now, I loved their performance, I have to say. The two songs they did, We Built the City and Mickey, was great. Not only because this show I'm doing right here is in the 80s, not only because of that, because, I'm doing a high school musical in the 80s, and that's why you haven't seen much of me this week, guys, but also because of the fact that their performance was just awesome, and I just love their performance overall. I know a lot of people don't like Vocal Adrenaline, but they really gave a great performance, okay? Their personality aside, they give amazing performances, and they gave an amazing performance in this episode as well. Now, their performance is all out. They're doing like acrobatics and things like that. It's a pretty crazy performance, and I really loved every minute of it, I have to say. They did a fantastic job, and I love their performance. I really did. They were great, and Sue did a great job with them, and they were fantastic. So then we get to the New Directions, and Spencer's about to get the hydrocortisone shot, and last minute they don't decide to give it to him, but we do get to the pep talk, which, oh my god, one of my favorite parts of the competitions are always the pep talk, and the pep talk in this episode was so good, because Will said that it's not his place to give the pep talk. The reason they're there is because of Rachel, which she is, and she talks about how a few months ago, she was worried about what was going to happen to them, and she came back in there to give them, a chance to do sectionals and everything, and to do well at sectionals. And I really, what she says to them, that she's there for them, and now she has to go back, but she will always be a part of New Directions and everything. I love that overall. And of course they do their cheer, the amazing cheer, and I loved it, and it was such a great scene. I loved everything about that scene. That was great. I know some people are upset because we didn't see a lot of Kurt and Blaine in this episode, but that's just because they're working together, so I don't really see a point in really giving Kurt and Blaine anything, because the series finale is next week, so I think we had enough there. So We get to the New Directions performing. Spencer's about to get the hydrocortisone shot, but Roderick last minute decides he doesn't want to do that. He has an idea. And they sing Take Me to Church, which was amazing. I have to say, that was better than the original. It really was. Everyone's saying it, but I'm going to say it too. It was better than the original. It was better than the original because there was more of a group performance. It was great to see. I think everyone did a fantastic job in the performance, and just, they were all fantastic there. I loved their performance. After they sing Take Me to Church, though, then what happens is they sing Chandelier, which, holy shit, where has Madison been all season? She can sing, like, wow, she is amazing, and Kitty was slaying it, Jane was slaying it, they did an amazing job there, and Chandelier was fantastic, and then, by far, though, Come Sail Away, that is what gave me the New Directions flashbacks. Come Sail Away, it gave me the epic feel we need for sectionals, gave me the epic feel we needed for sectionals, and I loved everything about it. Definitely better than Season 4 sectionals. Season 4 sectionals was terrible, and this was amazing, I have to say. I loved their performance, and just, it was a great way to go out. It really was. Just knowing that this is the final performance you'll ever see from the New Directions in a competition, it really gave me that, really made me feel like, okay, they know this is a fantastic way to go out, and it really was a great way to go out. They were fantastic, and Spencer was on his crutches the whole time, but I think it was a good idea what Roderick suggested, that he just perform on his crutches, which really, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Some people get injured. It really just shows how vulnerable they all are, and also shows that they're just normal people. I mean, while Vocal Adrenaline are these, like, very talented people that always want to perform, they're just normal people, and I think Roderick did a very good job of showing that by having Spencer perform on crutches, which was a very good idea, and I definitely really enjoyed that. So after this happens, we go to the judges, and oh my god, that's one of my favorite parts of competition episodes, always, are seeing the judges' input on what they said, and, how they feel, who should win. It's one of my favorite parts of, the competition episodes, and we got that back in this episode. So, they're all kind of not really knowing where they should go. Donna Landry's even more pissed at what's happened. She thinks everyone's worse than they were, which is hilarious. Rod Remington, though, he thinks the New Directions are great. He had some weird, like, feelings for, like, James. We know that guy's, like, a pervert and everything. We know he's a weird guy, and I thought that was really funny, so. And then the dog trainer, we find him as pretty much a retard. She really is. She was retarded, and, the dog is racist, which I thought was hilarious, and I love that, and that's just that whole thing I thought was great to see. I loved seeing the judges' input. I always love seeing it, and I thought that was great. So then we find out that Birds of Prey are in third place. No surprise, that always happens. The one that gets the first performance are always third place. And then it's down to Vocal Adrenaline New Directions, and New Directions easily wins. They're all very happy, and I was so happy that New Directions won. It was great to see, and they really did deserve it overall. I thought they all were just amazing, and I mean, out of all the performances, I have to say, for this week, the two performances the two songs I listened to the most were Come Sail Away and Listen to Your Heart. Also, We Built This City, but that's just because I love that song. I'm getting the 80s feel because of the show I'm in, but other than that, I absolutely love the performance, and I think they did an amazing job in that performance. It was a great performance overall, and it was amazing. So they definitely deserved it. I mean, when they won in season 5 for regionals, I really didn't think, I mean, season 4 for regionals, I really didn't think they deserved it, and it was not like that. They totally deserved it. They gave an amazing performance. I loved it. Perfect way to go out. So, Will has his final confrontation with Sue, and this was great to see, I have to say. I mean, Sue always does this. She always suddenly just turns around, and I think it was really funny that they made fun of that she always just randomly turns around, and I thought that was just really funny what they said, and I definitely really enjoyed that. I have to say also, Myron in this episode had me dying. Like, there's this one part where he's like, I'm gonna kill it, I'm gonna slay it, I'm gonna do amazing. I thought that was hilarious to watch, and just, he's so funny. It's just, what they gave this kid after Child Star made him hilarious. He really is hilarious now, and I thought he was hilarious in this episode. So Sue talks to Will and tells him that basically she made Vocal Adrenaline lose, and Will's like, no, there's no way, they were amazing. But Sue said that she did this to get into their subconscious, because apparently the judges hate the songs that they sang, so she did it so that way they would easily win, which I can understand why Sue would do that. I mean, she really is that maniacal. But my only thing here is that why does Sue never pick a side? And I think it's because she really cares about Will. She just hates the New Directions. You can see that she doesn't hate Will. You can see that she does have some sort of compassion here, and she says that getting on that show with Geraldo really did make her realize that Will does care. Well, that Will does care for her, and I think she does care for Will. She just hates the new directions. I really think that's what it is. That she hates the new directions overall. She hates show choir, but she does care about Will because she can see that he's a very dedicated teacher. And what Will said about her is true, and I really did like that. And Will said, "There's no way you're doing this," and she said the whole like vomiting thing and the glitter bombs, that was to motivate them and that was to make them stronger. And the vomiting was because she thought they need to lose a couple pounds. And I thought that was really good that she did that. But then she tells them, you know what, fine, you don't want to believe me. I'm going to go away for a while and I'm going to come back and I'm going to find a way to bring down new directions. Yeah, sure you are, Sue. We'll see what happens next week. Because I heard that what ends up happening to Sue in the series finale is like brutal. I don't know what ends up happening to her. I know she's not going to get killed or anything, but I do know that they said whatever happens to her is very surprising and actually very sad and very brutal. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to her. I thought that was a very good scene. I really did like that. So Jesse comes back to Rachel, tells her that he's happy that they won, sectionals, everything. And she tells him that she actually quit the show and she's not doing the show. And I like what Rachel is doing here. She tells him that she thinks that she should get a fresh new start and Niata really is the best thing for her right now. And I'd have to agree. I mean, she needs to go to college first and go to Niata because Kurt told her that you only get so many chances to go back to college. And they're at an age where I believe they're all supposed to be 20 at this point. But they're at an age right now where they need to go back to college. And Rachel wants to go back to college. She's planning on going back to Niata. And I like that she made that decision because that was the first mistake that Rachel made was quitting Niata and then, going for the Broadway show. Because that just made her way too overwhelmed. It made her very unexperienced. She wasn't ready to do that. And I really love that she made that choice, I have to say. It really just shows the different kind of character Rachel is. Rachel's not someone who's going to take every opportunity she has anymore. No, she's going to space it out, and I really do like that. And I'm sure she plans on doing that show with Jessie when she's at Niata, but if she wants to be in Niata for a little while, then fine. I love that Jessie was happy for her. He really was. He told her that he's happy for her that she made this decision. He's happy that she did this, and he really feels like she made the best decision. I thought that was great, and I absolutely love that. However, the best scene in this episode is the final scene. The final scene of this episode was amazing, and Will talks about how they are now going to regionals, and even though Kurt, Blaine, and Rachel are leaving, they will always have an impact on them, and he tells them that it's only just the beginning. And again, you get that season 1 feel, which I loved, and Rachel, is kind of sad because they have these 2 trophies here, and you can see this look on Kitty's face, and I love what Kitty says. She says that even though they have these 2 little trophies, they should combine the older trophies with the new trophies, so Rachel feels happier, and you see them put all the new trophies back, and you see all the new trophies going in, and it's amazing to watch, and I loved it, and just seeing that was amazing to see. And we get flashbacks of them winning each trophy and Finn's there, and just that scene had me tearing up. I was this close to I didn't cry, but it was close. I was close to tears. It was an amazing scene, an amazing way to end the episode, and oh my god, I cannot wait for the finale. I really can't. I mean, do I really want Glee to end? Yes, I do, because I think that they are getting stale. Okay, if they ran another season, I would hate this show. I really would. This season has been great. It really has. It's had one bad episode. Other than that, it's been great, and I think that's just because of what the show is. It's totally a soft reboot kind of show. But also, this episode made you realize that you can always fix your dreams, and that you have time to do that, and I definitely really enjoy that. I thought that was amazing, and I definitely really enjoyed it. I thought that was an amazing way to end the episode, I have to say. And next week's finale looks like it's going to make me cry. It'll definitely make me cry. It looks amazing. And I love it. The first part is how they all met, and the second part is what's happened to them. And it's going to be 5 years. I know the second part's going to be 5 years later, which I'm actually really looking forward to. I think the title for the last episode is Perfect Dreams Come True. I know Rachel and Jessie are probably going to get together. If they want to do that, I'm fine with that. I really do like these 2 together, and I'd like to see them together because I think they are meant for each other. Rachel and Jessie are perfect for each other, and I'd love to see them get together. That's something that I would legitimately love if they got those 2 together. Kurt and Blaine, I don't know how their journey is going to be. Here's another thing. I'm thinking Blaine is going to become this big star, but Kurt's going to become just as famous. I really feel like that's what's going to happen because the biggest problem with them was their creative struggle, that Kurt was more popular than Blaine, and Kurt was getting more souls than Blaine, and Blaine then was being featured more, and Kurt was going to help him out. That really was why they broke up, was because of their creative struggle, and they really do need to, hopefully it works out for them. Sue, I don't know what's going to happen to her. Apparently it's brutal. Apparently it's crazy, and we're not going to expect it, which I'm looking forward to because that could be really funny, I think. I just want next week's episode to feel satisfying. I want every character to get some sort of closure. Now, I know that some of them aren't going to get closure. I know that a whole bunch of the alumni, they're not going to get any closure. I can understand that. I can understand, that they're not getting closure. I gotta say, I love seeing Kitty bond with the alumni because technically she is part of the alumni because she was part of the second New Direction. So that basically counts as alumni. Now, I know Ryder and Jake are coming back next week. Some people are thinking Marley's going to come back, but then there are people saying that she's not coming back. But apparently she was spotted on set with blonde hair. So, I don't know if she's coming back. She is doing Supergirl, so I don't know if she's coming back. We'll see, though. Unique is coming back. I know that a handful of the original season 1, like Terry and Howard, they're all coming back. I don't know how the hell they're going to do this, but hopefully this works out really well. I kind of feel like the first part is I think the first part is not just gonna be just how I think it's gonna be like them reminiscing on how they met, which I'm looking forward to. And I've already heard the songs for 2009. They're all amazing, I have to say. I don't know if I exactly like the last song that they're gonna perform. If I Lived as the last song they perform as a cast, but whatever. I think this episode still was amazing. I think that they're gonna close it out really well. I'm really pumped for the finale. This episode got me really hyped for the series finale. I can't believe Glee is ending next week. I literally can't believe it. This season has gone by completely fast, like so fast, and I can't believe that we're already to this point where Glee's about to end. I just can't believe it, and it's been such a fantastic season. I've loved almost every episode, really, I have. This season really got me into Glee again. I loved it, and I mean, New York really is what got me into Glee again, but overall, guys, I really am looking forward to the series finale. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. Overall, guys, this was by far the best episode of the season. I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for the season of Switch to Birth, because as I told you guys, I am going to review Switch to Birth and Hindsight, and those are my next reviews, so those are what's coming up next, and I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.